is up, guys? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here, being subbed. If you're not, hit the button. And if you're listening on YouTube, hit that like. It's like walking in the room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into this podversation. All right. So here we go. Another release. Okay. Another release by the vlogger originalstraightnochaser, and audio from Arionne just running off on the mouth. And at first, when I saw it, I said, I'm not going to listen to this because this is just a bunch of nonsense, and I'm over it because it's all the same. Really, there's nothing new. But if you listen to her, which is a hard listen, it's as hard to listen to her as it is for me to listen to Carlos King, who I cannot stand listening to him. His voice is just extremely annoying and irritating, and just knowing some of the things that I believe he's said and done, it makes it an even harder listen for me. But with that being said, the audacity, okay? When I listen to this audio and to hear her say a number of things that she said, one, definitely there's a lot of confirmation in there because this girl has been seeking some semblance of notoriety, visibility, publicity, and fame, if you will, which nobody on, and this is no offense to anybody, nobody on this show is famous. If you've been on my platform for a while, you know my feelings on reality personalities. They're reality personalities. They're not celebrities. And that's okay too. I'm not here to say that any of them are really aspiring to be that. And some may be. But they're not celebrities. They're reality personalities. Yes, they may be known by a lot of people, but that doesn't make you Angelina Jolie. It doesn't make you Rihanna. I mean, these are celebrities. Let's just be able to call a thing and not be unrealistic about it. But with this bird, she really believes that she deserves to be on television because she was looking at herself in a way of being like Joseline Hernandez, who used to be on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. And she was trying to, and I never really thought about this before until now, she was trying to put herself in the shoes of being like Joseline Hernandez, who in my personal opinion didn't deserve to get the place that she got either, but she got it. Because one, a lot of people found her entertaining, messy, and she's all of those things, right? But Stevie J was not married to Mimi Faust, who I guess she was trying to put in the shoes of being Melody and trying to act like Martell was Stevie J. And I'm like, the audacity. Like when I was listening to this audio and I was hearing the vlogger have the conversation with Arionne, and she was trying to, I don't know if she was just playing head games with Arionne or she was being real about this, but she was talking about how Love and Hip Hop, you know, they got Mimi and Joseline and Stevie J on there. Like, why wouldn't they have you on the show? And then she was talking about also Kirk and Rashida Frost, who actually are married. And if you used to watch Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, you know that there was this chick who was on there that had a baby by Kirk. And I had even heard rumors that wasn't even a real storyline and that wasn't even really his baby. I don't know. I haven't cared enough to dig into the details to see if that was really true or not. But I remember Tasha K talking about that. And she said that actually wasn't real. That wasn't even really his baby. And they were doing those things for storylines. So when it comes to Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, nothing surprises me. So I wouldn't be surprised if that isn't really his baby and Rashida was in on it to garner more views and headlines and whatever. But with that being said, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta and Love and Marriage Huntsville were two completely different things. And if she thought that she had a chance of being on the show because of those situations that happened on another reality show, then she really had another thing coming. And that's one of the reasons why she is still so bitter to this day, because she really believes that she should have had her time to shine on television. by this point in time. Because trust and believe, the people that follow her on social media, which I don't, so when I hear anything about her, it is by way of people like Original Straight No Chaser, who's released this audio, or maybe another vlogger who's talked about something that happened on social media with her, because I ain't following her. I don't have the time, neither do I have the desire, okay? So listening to this, I'm like, okay, there it goes. She really was believing that she was supposed to be in the position of Joseline Hernandez as well as Melody, because believe it, she definitely has envy for Melody. She saw how Melody leveled up, and she was talking about that, how Melody leveled up. You know, a few times she talked about it in a way of bitterness, saying she just threw away her family for what she got now. She didn't throw her family away. She actually was the one that wanted the family. The reason why they have been together all of the years that they were together was because Melody was the one that wanted the family. And every time I hear and see how Melody has continued to level up, and Martell, by his own actions, not because there's just so many people out here that hate him so much that they're out here trying to destroy his life. It's him. It's him that does it. And, you know, by your words, you're justified, and by your own words, you're condemned. That's the word. The Bible says that by your own words, you're justified, and by your own words, you're condemned. He's definitely been condemned by his own words and deeds, not just the words, by the deeds, right? And so with that being said, this is the reason why his life is in shambles, and it has not gone anywhere. But when I sit and consider how she really tried to help this man all of the years that they were together, he is like the man that Tyler Perry said that black women should settle with if they are having an issue trying to find a man to be with. A black man, that not just a man, a black man. And Tyler Perry said, if you're making all the money and you're doing well, as long as he can take you to dinner every once in a while and pay a light bill, that's fine. And no, it's not. And this is what you get when you get a male, not a man, when you get a black male like that, you get a Martell. I talked about this before. When you get a black male like that, what you're going to wind up with is a man that is angry. Not a man, a male that is angry. A male that is out here windmilling at the world because he's not happy with his own choices and decisions to not do things that are going to increase his life and lifestyle. And then you get a male that's living in resentment and feels that, well, I'm not being treated like a king at home because the queen is doing everything that she needs to do and has to do in order for him, his dusty butt, to be able to live the life that he's living. He feels that he deserves to have a female, not a woman, a female that's going to make him feel like a king. So he's going to go insert that dirty dingaling in some female that's willing to give it just for the sake of some momentary pleasure. And he will do it repeatedly, and that is exactly what happened, because this dusty butt Negro, I'm trying to choose my words carefully, guys, he was living off of Melody and the work that she put in, hard work and effort and putting herself out there to increase their life more and more, and he couldn't even pass the builder's license exam, okay? And she let him live off of that, work off of hers, and probably still wasn't doing things right, because I heard that there's a couple that's suing him for maybe fraud with doing things with regards to their home and upgrade or in addition to their home. I don't know how true that is, but that's what I heard. I didn't talk about it, but I heard about it. And he doesn't have any business building anyone's homes because he doesn't even have a builder's license. Okay, and he should have never been allowed to work off of anyone else's. When Melody was married to him, okay, fine, she let him do it. Big mistake. But nobody else should be allowing him to do that. Anyone else that's allowing him to do that, they deserve everything that's coming their way. But listen, guys, she actually believes that God put her in this position. She was talking about God. I'm like, there are many gods. You couldn't be talking about the true and living God, because the God that I know, the God that I serve, the God that I believe in, he would never put anyone in a position to be someone's second helpings, the side piece. And for years. So God put her in a position to interfere in someone else's relationship and marriage, because on this audio and in this video, she played a clip of him being on that Kim Ministry panel where he talked about how he always wore his ring, and he was talking about he needed somebody to, and then what's her name, Tammy, who used to be with Waka Flocka, she said, stroke your ego. He's like, yeah, I needed that bleep. I needed that. And this goes back to what I'm talking about, being with a male who is not in a position of being the lead, so to speak, and he's always straggling behind. You're going to be looking for someone to make you feel, he's going to be looking for someone, I should say, to make him feel like that when he doesn't even deserve it. He doesn't even deserve it. You're not a provider. You're not loving. You're not doing the things that you are really supposed to be doing as a man, and not just as a man, but as a husband. You don't deserve to be treated that way. And any female that would allow you to screw them so that you could feel that way for a moment, they're not really giving you that either, because everything that they're doing it for is for their own intents and purposes. It's not to make you a king or to even feel like one. You may feel like one for a moment when you're getting down and dirty, or you're being her baby wipe, licking between her butt cheeks. It's just like disgusting, because to hear her talk about that every time, it makes my stomach turn. But this is what I'm talking about. But she was talking about karma. Karma is real. Well, she must not really believe that anymore. But to have the nerve to say that God put her in the position. God, the true and living God? No, not the God that I serve. There are many gods. Maybe Buddha put her in that position. I don't know. Like, not the real God. People worship and idolize many things. So maybe there's some God that she has conjured up to worship. But it's definitely not the real, the only, the true and living God that put her in a position to be, I don't even like using the term mistress, because it gives some positive connotation to someone who was dealing with someone that was married, you know, and they don't deserve a phrase like that. So no, she wasn't a mistress. She was a side hoe. Always, and still is. And isn't it crazy to be a side hoe and you're still with that person and he's not even married anymore? So, and she's still a side hoe because he still hasn't claimed her. He's talked about her having responsibilities and doing the things that she's supposed to do as a woman, but not as a wife, not as even a girlfriend. Like, and you're whatever age you are right now, and the more she speaks and the more visibility she has, the more immature and childish she appears. And what appears is actual. She really is childlike. And it's, in a way, disgusting. It gives off pedo vibes, if you will, even though I know that she's not a child. I know she's not underage. She was younger and is younger than him and was younger when he got with her. But it was like, that's exactly what he was seeking. He was seeking prey. He was a predator, still is. And she felt like she deserved to be on television just like Joseline Hernandez. And it's like, girl, you really were delusional, still are. And to believe that God built her for this, she said God said he built her for this. So God built her to be a female that would be an interference in someone else's relationship and marriage. And Melody did try, foolishly, I will say, but I won't knock her for that, because most women, let's just be real, most women and wives, if they find out that their husband has been unfaithful, the majority of them are not going to immediately leave their spouse and file for divorce, because the vows are supposed to mean something. I'm not saying that they shouldn't mean shit to the man and he's supposed to continue to screw around on her or do whatever, because not every person's relationship issues and struggles are infidelity. I know it's hard for some people to believe, but not every man is a cheater. That's just the reality of the matter. Not every man is a cheater, just like every woman isn't a hoe. Because I hate when people give those generalizations like that when it's not really real. It's not fair to all men, and it's also not fair to all women to think that all women are just hoes and freaks and they're out here sleeping around with everybody, or even if they're not doing it now, they did at one point in their life. Not everyone was a hoe. Not everyone had a whole phase. Not every female had that experience. There actually are some women that have chosen to keep their private parts sacred. So I know we live in an age where people just see everybody as freaks and out here just living the wild and fabulous life, forgetting STDs exist, don't practice what they call safe sex, which in actuality isn't really that safe, because you can still get STDs and can still get pregnant using protection. So just going off on a little bit of a tangent. But my point in that is her saying that God built her for this. Girl, please. Now, God is willing to forgive, but you have to be of a repentant heart and a repentant mind and a repentant state. And she has never repented. So there really is no forgiveness. And also for the male that she's still been screwing around with all this time. None of them have been repentant about their actions, because to repent is to not say I'm sorry. To repent is to actually realize the ways that you have been living have been terrible, and you are asking God to help you to turn and change, because it does require some help and assistance. If you have been like that, it doesn't just take, oh, I'm not going to do it anymore and I'm going to turn, but you seek assistance and help to do that. So if she has an addiction to him, she needs to seek the help to release her from that soul tie and that addiction that she has to this Negro. Okay? And him being the narcissist that he has, it's going to take life to really break him down for him to ever realize that he has been wrong all of this time, and I don't want to live this way anymore, and I want to turn from these ways. But unfortunately, with a lot of narcissistic people, they never do that. I mean, look at 45, who's running to be president again. He's a narcissist, and the man is almost 80, and he will never change. He'll go to the grave like that. So most narcissistic people do. Look at Kanye or Ye or Yeezy, whatever his name. These are just a couple of well-known narcissistic personalities and people that will never change. They are who they are, and it's sad. But sometimes there's some people that God can't even do anything with, and it's not that God can't, but you have to be willing. If you are willing and obedient, you will eat the good of the land. And if you're not willing, God even's like, you don't even have to believe in him, because if you don't believe, he's not going to do something to make you believe. That has to be a choice. So sorry, preaching a little bit, guys, but I just wanted to, put that in there because that was on my heart and on my mind, and I wanted to release it. So for her to believe that God put her in this position, she definitely has no idea who God is, and God would never put anyone in a position to be that and to do what you have done. And it's really unfortunate. I'm not here rooting for her. I don't root for people that have done devious things like that, but I do root for good. And it is a shame. I'm not saying that she would be living the life and doing things like Melody is doing, but if she had cut ties with him a long time ago and really repented and turned from it, who knows where her life would be if she just released herself of that dead weight that is Martell, because all he can ever do is bring anyone down. He doesn't level anyone up. So even with Melody, she was still able to do good things, but the reason why she's been able to do so much more since she released that dead weight is because he was dead weight. A lot of times you're not able to really, I've talked about stuff like this on my other YouTube channel, guys, so sometimes I'm sorry I go off on a little bit of a tangent when I talk about things that are like business and inspiration, because I'm a business owner and an entrepreneur. but I've talked about things like this before. It's like a rocket. It's like a space shuttle. Yeah, it can blast off, but in order for it to go further and to go into outer space, there's that part of it, and forgive me, I don't know all the technical terms, but there's that part of it that has to be released from the vessel in order for it to go higher. So once Melody released that dead weight from her vessel, that's why she was able to soar after being done with him, because he was holding her down. So so she would never be able to increase in her life as long as she continues to hold on to that dead weight. And it's so sad that she's so blinded by the dick that she can't see that. And hey, that's on her. I don't really care, but I'm just saying, because I know this conversation is not in real time and this is from the past, and the vlogger is allowing it to come out to the public now. But yeah, her life will never increase because she continues to hold on to that dead weight. But for her to believe that God put her in this position, and God was the one that said, you are made for this. Made for what? If I were doing the things that she was doing and I felt like God said that to me, that would be my response back to God. Made for what? You know what I mean? Made for what? That's absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, it's a number of things that was said. I started to, like I said, not listen to it. And then when I decided to listen to it, I said, maybe I'll do a reaction to it. And I'm like, no, there's really not a reason for me to spend that much time doing a reaction to that, because that audio alone is about almost 40 minutes. So I'm like, no, I'm not going to spend that much time on that. And I didn't even mean to spend this much time on this, but I did. So I'm going to end it there, but let me know what you think about the audacity of her thinking that she should have been in the position of Joseline, and also her thinking that God made her for this, like God made her for this, and how she's admiring Melody at one point, but then she's envious of her at another point, because yeah, she wants what she sees Melody having now, but she despises the fact that Melody is no longer with Hotel and she's getting what she's got. And she believes that she deserves it, but she still wants the man as well. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Thanks so much for being here, for liking and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye. Wonder if we maybe were mistaken.